Good afternoon. Welcome to Gladly Strutting, where we talk about shoes and pre-loved fashion, and so it does tend to be a lot of pre-loved shoes. Today is neither of those things. Actually, I come to you with a random video. I sometimes do jewellery-based videos, but I actually wanted to do a little bit of talking, and I apologize before I've started. I know I'm going to be doing lots of talking, but I wanted to talk about my piercings. And especially coming from a religious background. I'm Seventh-day Adventist. So if you know anything about Seventh-day Adventists, we're usually quite a more strict, more rules-based, more modest kind of group of people in terms of everything that we do. So kind of talking about how that works with my less modest style generally. I just did a video with like these crazy shoes, which I do wear to church. It's funny enough, but yeah, specifically we'll talk about all the piercings that I have, how I sit with my religion, and how other people sit with me with these piercings. Hope you enjoy. Okay, I thought to come a little bit closer so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Now, on this side, if I'm not mistaken, that's the one that has the double helix piercings. I've got my little twins that I call them, and I actually have my second lobe piercing that's not in right now because this one's a bit too big and flashy and takes up a little bit of the space. So I should have, if my maths serves me correctly, that should be 6 piercings on this ear. On this side I have one less helix piercing, so I should have 5 on this side. Same stitch over here, my little twins, and then my second lobe not quite in there. Do I need to come closer? Let me see. And see, the thing is, I can't see you seeing my ear. So we'll see how we go in the other side. But yeah, so why this is an interesting topic and why I should bring religion into this is, I think I said a little bit, I'm Seventh-day Adventist. I'm a devout Seventh-day Adventist. And not only have I been Seventh-day Adventist, it's a denomination of Christianity. We believe in Jesus as the Messiah. We believe in the second coming, hence the Seventh-day Advent part. We also believe in the Sabbath being the Saturday, which as it always was. So we believe in maintaining and keeping the Saturday as the Sabbath. So we refrain from working and doing anything too crazy or anything like that. But basically the purpose of the Sabbath is to spend time with like-minded people, but also really spending time with God and God's creation. So that usually means spending a lot of time at church and doing activities that are inclined with that. We do a lot of afternoon activities, but really for me, I take it as the Sabbath is the day for me to rest and the day for me to spend time with God. Whether that's getting to read the Bible a bit more, or listening to sermons, or being out in nature that He's created. And appreciating, I guess, my life and my relationship with God. So I don't know. For me, I think what happens and why, and I should also say I'm actually a church elder. Yep. Weren't expecting that. So yeah, I'm actually a church elder and a church clerk. I've been for a few years. And I think that actually has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I feel like my character might be the thing that has helped in a way. I've always been sort of a serving kind of person, always volunteering to help, even when I don't have the time or the abilities, even when I'm a hindrance to the situation, I'm always happy to help and to step up. And so I think that goes a long way, because the way I dress, the jewellery that I have, the shoes, I'm a shoe obsessed kind of person. I feel like that might be a little bit contradictory to what everyone's expectations of an SDA elder is. So I will tell you, there's been lots of comments, but I think I've learned to not let things get to me so much. Particularly, it started off with my fashion sense. I've always been a dress kind of person. I've always been a heels kind of person. The dresses came after the heels, okay? So I've always been obsessed with them, and I would come with the super high platform shoes, and people got used to me. Like, they actually got used to me. They're like, yeah, that's just Gladys. It just is what it is. But it doesn't take away from her being a good person or a generous person or a kind person, if that makes sense. So I think people that have known me over the years are actually able to look past the fancy shoes and the fancy dresses, and hopefully see my character shining through, if that helps. Hopefully. What I do worry is, I should say, Seventh-day Adventists are always very smart, very organized, very, everything is kind of ... usually on the strict side, right? And so when you go to an SDA church, usually a more traditional church, I should say, you'll find people very smartly dressed. And so I feel like I definitely lean into that if people look at me when I'm at church, they would then assume that my expectation of somebody else coming to church should also be very dressed up, right? So if you're going to dress up, you expect other people to dress up. That's not it for me. And I think a few times people have kind of implied, oh, look, if this is how you dress to church, I feel bad, I shouldn't even come. Or like, I was like, this is how I dress, because I have no friends, because I don't go out. So this is my opportunity for me to just enjoy myself, right? For this to be a kind of serving a purpose in a way. I will always be going to church. So I take it as a special day. And so I dress according to how I feel like I should dress, if that makes sense. But that is not how everyone else should dress. This dressing thing in the SDA church is very, like, it's a topic. Yeah, it's a topic. But anyway, yeah, lots of comments have always been made about my dress sense. And in the last 3-ish years, I've always had the first lobe piercings since I was, 10 or something like that. I got these in New Zealand. I can't remember when I got the second lobe, but I think people started talking when I got the third lobes. And I think what I actually did was I got the second lobe here, and I got the helix one, and then I got the third lobe here. So it was 3, 2, 1. As soon as, for some reason, as soon as you go up above the lobe, people start talking. People start going, she's a rebel. What is she doing? What is this? Has she been, like, people started talking once I got the helix. I started making people uncomfortable. And then for me, like, I was like, the reason, I think I got my piercings before I was an SDA, my first ones, before I was SDA, so I never had an issue with piercings, if that makes sense. Maybe I don't like the hair, but I never had an issue with the ear ones. And then I guess with the trend of people having lots of piercings, constellations, and dressing them up in pretty ways, I was like, well, that's nice. I like that. That's fun. And so I've never been opposed to that. And clearly I wasn't so opposed to it. So it's gone to a point now where, yeah, I feel quite happy with this side, if that makes sense. I probably would want something on the flat on this side. And I feel like that would settle this side better. Just to balance it out. I also don't like the fact that I've got 6 on one side and 5 on the other. I just feel like that's odd. Anyone else? Anyone else wants to balance that out just like me? Anyway, besides the point, yeah, as soon as I got to the upper lobes, to the helixes, people had a lot of things to say. And I would like to say, like, don't go bashing on anyone that has, like, their certain viewpoints. I think where it comes from is the notion of, and why I put it under the umbrella of, like, an SDA mindset, against piercings, I should say, and tattoos, sort of things that we do to our body to change it, and plastic surgery, things like that, things that we do to our body to change it. The notion, the understanding is, you were made perfect. God has made you perfect in his image. And so with that, like, live your life with this confidence, with this self-assuredness, with this what's the word, like, self-esteem that doesn't actually come from yourself, because you don't want to be boastful, but it comes from an understanding that you are made perfect. as imperfectly as we are, as asymmetrical as we are, as chubby as we are, all of these things, you were made perfect. And so in that sentiment, it's kind of like you don't need to be changing yourself. And I think a lot of us can sit with that comfortably, right? We know so many people who we think are beautiful and wonderful, but they might not see that themselves. And so trying to be like, you are made perfect, you are perfect. That's what people, I think, try and pass that on, but it usually doesn't come out that way. So piercings fall under the thing of, well, in the perfection that you were made, you think you're changing yourself for the better. And you're making a permanent change for the better. Clothing, they might have something to say, and shoes and all of that. But at the end of the day, I take them off and I change and I'm okay. Makeup, they might have something to say. But at the end of the day, we wipe it off, micellar water, whatever. And it comes off and I'm still as I am. Hair, same thing. Jewelry we take off. But piercings, I think there's a little bit of permanence to that. And that's where the people kind of struggle with it. I say, well, I can take off the jewelry, right? If I can actually do it. Imagine I can't take this off and I'm like, well, I tried. Okay, so this one came off. So, for me, I kind of go, well, I can take this off. It's not me trying to change myself. It's just me using, I guess, what this is. But I can take off jewelry if it lets me again, if I grab the right one. I actually just got this fourth lobe done. So technically I can't take that off yet. It hasn't been 6 weeks. So yeah, right this moment, I can't take it off, this one. And this one's just too tricky and annoying to try and take off. But you know what I'm saying over here, if you don't look too hard, it doesn't look like I've got piercings, but on this side it does. So for me, I guess my slight argument to, you're changing yourself is, well, actually it's a temporary thing in a way. But yeah, it doesn't sit right with a lot of people. Anyway, I don't know what this video is meant to do. I'm hoping it just starts a conversation about, accepting people for who they are and for the things that they want to do, but also looking beyond the superficial, and looking at the character of people and whether or not they're trying to be a good person. And hopefully that shines through, all of these other things. At the end of the day, like shoes and clothes and jewelry and makeup and hair, all these things, they're just things. Who are you behind all of those things? That's kind of where I wanted to kind of keep that conversation towards, to say, well, can you stop being distracted by my by my jewelry, and allow me to be a good, hopefully a good person, a person that loves God and that shows that love through my interactions with other people. You should know my character. I won't have to come and preach to you. You should know who I am as a person by the way that I interact with you. So yeah, we'll see how we go. I'll likely get one last one over here because I like the idea of 6/6 evenness. And yeah, I really love the forward helix piercings, but my ears are too small for that, so I think I'll just settle for a flat and I will actually be done, knowing that I can take these off anytime should I want to, and have no trouble. I'm sure there'll be little holes. If I come closer, you can kind of see little holes, indentations of the piercings, but I don't think that's worthy of any comment. I think that's insignificant. But yeah, let me know how you take this conversation, if this is close to home, if this is as far away from any concept you've ever heard. Let's have a discussion. Piercings, what do you think about them? Thanks.